Hello, hello everyone. I'm NVL and welcome to an NVL Gaming live stream. Today we're going to be taking a look at my original Xbox collection. This will include some classic games and some hidden gems as well. So, without further ado, let's get started and check out the first game of over 100 games. So let's get started. First up we have 187 Ride or Die. This is a vehicle combat game combined with a racing game. It's a pretty cool game. Admittedly, this is a fairly recent pickup and I'm yet to play it, but it does look pretty cool and it is complete with the manual and the disc. That's how I like my games, if I can help it, to get them completely complete. And that is cool to have that, and that will be on a video game pickups video with gameplay footage down the line. Next up we have 13. This is a first-person shooter with a very unique art style. You guys may know that this is on different consoles as well, ported to a couple of different systems. Games Master gave this 94%, this year's coolest game, it said. And this is also complete with the disc and the manual. Very cool looking game, very unique art style. I remember having this back in the day, maybe for the PlayStation 2, and I might have just lost that copy, but nevertheless, this is a cool game, so I'm glad to have that on the original Xbox. And often the original Xbox version will have nicer graphics, albeit you do have to use the Xbox controller. Now I prefer the slimmer controller, the smaller controller. I think they might call it the S rather than the Duke, the big one. But other than that, it's great to play on the system. Graphics often do look better. Next up we have Alter Echo. It's a very unusual game. This is a platformer. Quite the unusual game. So it's an altered world, learn to adapt. It's a cool game. And this is also complete with the disc and the manual, exactly how I like to have them. It's a pretty cool game. I like the look of it. Played this a little bit. It's a very colourful game. And I want to say that this was original Xbox exclusive, even though it doesn't say on it, but I may be wrong. Sometimes they were exclusive to the original Xbox, it didn't say. Someone correct me if I'm wrong. The official Xbox magazine on the back here just says, awesome. That's what they have to say about that game. But, cool game. Next up we have, I believe this is pronounced Azuric. Rise of Paraphia? Rise of Paraphia. You got a fish person. I want to say merfolk, but I don't think they are. A young guardian, it describes it on the front here of this game. And this one is marked only on Xbox, or at least console-wise only on Xbox. So this is potentially exclusive, although sometimes they would have this written on there, and then down the line, maybe it would eventually get ported to other systems, but I believe this is exclusive. Another platformer. Interesting, cool game. Very colourful and very unique. So you definitely get a lot of cool games on this. And like I say, the graphics on the original Xbox will often be better than the PlayStation 2 or GameCube equivalent at the time, because it had a lot more horsepower. Again, this is complete with the disc and manual. I'm actually really loving the disc art here and the manual art for this particular game. I like it when they're different from the cover. Makes it look very interesting, so that's pretty cool. Alright, next up we have an old favourite of mine, Backyard Wrestling on the original Xbox. So I formerly had this on the PlayStation 2. Hey, one up woman, thanks for stopping by, my friend, and thank you for that like, much appreciated. How are you doing, one up? Good to see you, my friend. I actually had the sequel to this game before this one. This, again, was a fairly recent pickup, so I haven't played this yet. Geronimo Alpha! Back. Welcome, my friend. It's good to see you back. How are you doing, Geronimo? Great to see you here, my friend, as we go through some original Xbox games. Yeah, this is a cool game. Only picked this one up recently again. Haven't played this, but I have played the sequel, which I'll show you guys in a minute. It is a wrestling game. Backyard wrestling, so you're not confined to the ring. You can do anything. You can pull out tables, break through barbed wire, and all kinds of crazy stuff. It describes itself as more hardcore than ever on the back here. More hardcore than ever, and of course, parental advisory is advised. Likewise to the other games, it is complete with a disc and manual. That's how I like to get them if I can help it. If there's no alternative, I will certainly pick up one without a manual, but if I can help it, I will get it complete with a disc and manual, because that's the way I like it. And of course, the aforementioned Backyard Wrestling 2. Check out that cover with the insane clown posse, and I think that's Francine on the cover there as well. Pretty cool. Lots of cool wrestlers in this one. It describes itself as babes, brawls, and backstage passes. I might be wrong about that being Francine, but who knows. But there you go. I think you got Vampiro on the back there as well. Pretty badass. And all kinds of renowned hardcore wrestlers in there as well. I think they might have New Jack in there, but I could be wrong. if they don't, they should. Backyard Wrestling. Yep. Your town is the location of the first live pay-per-view. It's the story for this game. They've put $1 million cash prize on the line. Well, considering the production values of Backyard Wrestling, I very much doubt that. But a cool game. I have played this. I played this a lot actually. When I had it initially, I remember getting the original Xbox console. It's huge, my friends. It never had a slim version like the Xbox 360 did. You know, like a smaller version or a revision like the Xbox One, which is the current system, which is very confusing. It was huge, and taking that home, because I carried it home from the shop, so it's just a walk from town for me. Yeah, that was quite the trek. It was quite the trek. And oh man, was it heavy. I've carried multiple systems home before in a bag, and it wasn't as bad as the original Xbox was. It was so heavy. Here's a heavy RPG, Baldur's Gate Dark Alliance 2. You may be wondering, where's Dark Alliance 1? Well, I had that on the PlayStation 2 just over there. So I originally played the series on the PlayStation 2. I actually picked up Dark Alliance 2 on the original Xbox, because I was thinking I might pick up the games on the original Xbox in case they become backwards compatible with the Xbox One. So when I stream them, which I intend to do, I will be able to stream them in as high detail as possible through HDMI for the Xbox One. I believe that they were backwards compatible for the Xbox 360, but only in America, not in the UK for some reason. So in Europe, I don't think that works, which is unfortunate. But yeah, cool games. Maybe they will become backwards compatible by some other means, or maybe I'll get I have a HDMI cable for the PlayStation 2, so that's not a big deal. But if I could get a HDMI cable, I'll probably do it on the PlayStation 2. But if I can get a HDMI cable for the original Xbox, that'd be good as well. Although, I think the resolution is lower on PAL original Xboxes. They don't output to 720. I could be wrong there, but I know that there's some issue with HDMI cables for PAL Xbox original Xbox Ones. Alright, there we go. Blade 2 is next up. Film was pretty cool, wasn't as good as Blade 1. There was some really dodgy, I think was Danny John Jules in Blade 2, or was it Blade Trinity? I can't remember. Actor from Red Dwarf. They had like a digital fight scene and it was just awful. Interesting game. I haven't gotten around to playing this one yet. It will be in a future pickup video, if I'm not mistaken. Cool film series. Plus, this film series is getting a reboot, right? Marvel's doing a new one. Hey, Otaku, how are you doing, my friend? Although, to be fair, I may have been dropping all kinds of misinformation so far, such as the wrestlers in Backyard Wrestling and whatever Marvel is doing. But yeah, Blade 2. How are you doing, Otaku? Good to see you, my friend. This is also complete with the disc and the manual in there, as I like to have them, and most of these cases are in fairly good order, although some of these cases, because they're green, they may be replaced with an Xbox 360 case, because you never can really tell. I guess if you study them very closely, you may know. Next up, we have a fairly recent pickup, but I have played this one. It is Blinx the Time Sweeper, again marked as an original Xbox exclusive on the top there. This is a really interesting game. This is a platformer where you can control time with this little time sweeper, as the title suggests. This world has been beset upon, and Blinx sees the princess of this world. I believe she's a princess, game generics. He sees her in trouble, instantly falls in love with her, and decides to try and save the day. So he goes out. You can rewind time, you can fast forward time, you can pick up all kinds of stuff like trash cans and throw them at enemies. It's really cool. You would have seen this on a recent video game pickups I did. It is pretty sweet. It's a pretty sweet game, my friends. I actually quite like this one, and I would call it Hidden Gem. It's pretty good. It's pretty good. The first 4D action game ever on original Xbox, it describes itself as. The fourth dimension is time, it tells you. Well, although it is time to move on after this, this does have all of the little gubbins inside as well. I should have the manual, although I seem to have this help number, customer service numbers. We won't need customer service, and there's a little advertisement in here as well. Oh, you know what? I may be missing the manual. No, I got the manual. There it is. I've also got this little flyer. I love having these little flyers, actually. All of the stuff inside there. So there's the manual and the disc in there. And you know, partially I'm checking for myself because I was going to buy some PlayStation 1 games today from a charity shop, but I wasn't sure they had all the stuff inside because they had ODT, which I already have for PlayStation 1, but it had the manual in good condition. So I actually, to be fair, my friends, I went back because I didn't know. I went back on my phone and looked at my PlayStation 1 collection video I did to see if I had the manual for that game, which was pretty funny. And they also had Soviet Strike on the PlayStation 1, but it was a regular case, and inside they had the Platinum disc, and the back of it was all drawn on by pen, and it was scratched. Like, some children must have had it. It was in pretty bad shape, so I decided not to pick that up, even though it is a good game, Soviet Strike. Next up is Barbarian. I actually picked up a Xbox 360 game. You'll see that I am planning on doing a 360 collection video at some point as well. So you'll see it on that. I decided not to do a pickup for that. You'll just see it when you see it on that video. This is complete with the disc and manual as well. Barbarian. Again, not very imaginative this time round with the artwork there. I like it when they're different. And this is kind of like an arena combat game. It's a fairly interesting game, but very generic. It looks like a budget title because it is a budget title. That is Barbarian. Next up, we have Batman, Rise of Sin Tzu. Hey, Kamui Plays. Welcome to the stream, my friend. How are you doing, buddy? It's good to see you. This is a beat-em-up game, a 3D beat-em-up game. You can play as Batman, Robin, Batgirl as well. I think Nightwing as well. Yeah, I'm seeing Nightwing on the cover now that I look closely. Trying to get my facts straight. Cool game. Fairly recent pickup. I say fairly recent. It was on a video game pickups I did recently, so you can see gameplay footage of this. I'm doing well. I'm doing great, my friend. Thanks for asking. Always fun to go through these collection videos and talk about the games that I picked up along the way. This is also complete with the game and manual, and I actually find these very fun because I can interact with you guys, my friends. Sam M, how the devil are you, my friend? Welcome to the stream, buddy. We're very close. We're in the B's, so we've only just begun, buddy. How am I? I'm doing well, man. Thanks for asking. It's good to see you, buddy. And good evening to everyone there, or good morning or good night, depending on your time zone, of course. How the devil are you? Drunk? I am not drunk. I fear not. I am drunk. Okay, Geronimo, I'm drunk on love for you guys. I love you guys being here. Thanks for being here, my friends. But indeed, don't forget to hit the like button. Alright, next up we have Blood Rain, the original Xbox. This is backwards compatible on the Xbox One, I believe. It's a cool game. It's like a platformer. Kind of reminds me a bit of Legacy of Khan. Is it Khan or is it Kane? I just don't know. Legacy, I'm going to say Legacy of Kain, Soul Reaver. Reminds me of that a lot. It's a cool game. Look at the artwork for the disc and manual, though. Look at this. I said that I like them to be different. So there's like eyes on the manual, and there's lips with the teeth on the... I've got bad teeth, I realise that. I'm a British stereotype in that regard. There's teeth on the disc. I really like that. That's pretty cool. I believe they also made a movie of this as well. At some point. You love me the most, Sam M. I love you guys. Thanks for being here. I'm trying to do a heart. Never played Blood Rain? It's a pretty cool game. I would say it plays fairly similar to Soul Reaver, but then it's that's in the sense that it's a platformer. So, you know, it's a 3D platformer, and it's a pretty cool game though as well. Next up, we're gonna step it up a gear. You're meaning if or not. Okay. I am not drunk, I assure you, my friends. I don't drink because I am this crazy when I'm sober. So fear what would happen if I was drunk. I love you guys. I love everybody. That's my terrible impression of a drunk person. But nevertheless, this might be a game you want to be drunk to play. It is BMX XXX. And as you guys can see, there is a parental advisory for this to be explicit on the front here. Yeah, when I saw this game, BMX XXX, I just had to pick it up. I imagine that stands for extra large and nothing else whatsoever. But on the back here, you can see a lady with covered up by the screenshots of the game. So make of that what you will. It's a game similar to Tony Hawk's, I guess, is how I would describe it. Not actually that bad a game, despite how it's been marketed. A lot of games have been marketed in such a way. You can't really fault it. It's marketing that works. I mean, you know, I ended up picking it up. Many other people would, I guess. Yeah, pretty much the same as Tony Hawk's, that style of game. Alright, next up we have a pretty unique game, and I believe this game is also backwards compatible on the original Xbox One. So if you have a disc or you have it downloaded by some means, it will also be playable on the Xbox One. It is Breakdown. And this is a pretty cool game. It's like a first-person RPG. It's like really crazy, but it's got beat-em-up elements. Admittedly, I have played this. The beat-em-up controls in first person are not that great, but the story is very interesting. This is certainly a really cool game. It's very cinematic. And I did enjoy playing this quite a bit. The only thing I didn't enjoy was the controls are a bit rough. When you're trying to beat someone up in first person, a little weird. It's a little weird. But this is also complete with a disc and manual, like many of the games you're going to see will be. So I am glad to have it. And likewise, it is backwards compatible on the original Xbox One. Or they say backwards compatible, you know, it'll technically download it. It won't run it off the disc. But you can play it with a disc for free, which is very nice of them to do that. Alright, next up, we have Brute Force. If all else fails, just use brute force. This is a shooter game. It's a multiplayer shooter game. I believe this was out on other systems as well, but it does say only on Xbox. I remember playing this in multiplayer, so I want to say it's a third-person shooter, but it could be a first-person shooter. I don't remember, but I have played it in multiplayer before, and it was good fun, actually. And there you go. There's some clips from the back of it as well. It's a pretty cool game. Dangerous alone, deadly together, it tells you. And this is also complete with the disc and manual. If I can put the disc the right way up, there you go, complete. As many as I can get complete, I will get complete. It's the worst thing when you're trying to figure out how to play a game without a manual, my friends, because I've got a fair few games, so if I don't remember what the controls are, I'm in a lot of trouble. And next up, Brothers in Arms Road to Hill 30. This is a first person shooter set in a wartime, as you can imagine. I have played this game. It's not bad. It's pretty generic. It's one of those kind of games. It's pretty cool. Inside here you can see it has the disc and the manual complete. I believe there was another series that you could do some tactical stuff. I don't think this was the game. I think this was just the first person one. But I have another series of shooters that are set in a wartime that you have some tactical elements that we'll get to down the line as well. Next up we have Buffy the Vampire Slayer. It says that this is an Xbox exclusive. I don't know if that's correct. Again, you can't really trust what the cover says, but this is a cool game. Chaos Bleeds is another Buffy the Vampire Slayer game. This is also pretty good, and these are not bad. They're like beat 'em up platformers. If you're a fan of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, you may well be a fan of this game. The controls are a bit awkward. They often are. There was a PS2 version as well. Yeah, see, exactly. It lies, Kamui. It's telling you false things. You love it. It's a pretty cool game. It reminds me a lot, if you've played Enter the Matrix. Enter the Matrix plays very similar. In fact, Enter the Matrix has a section where you fight vampires, which is very reminiscent of this. And I don't recall which came out first, but maybe this one does, because it's got the old age certification, the old Europe one on the front there instead of the other one, which we'll get to later anyway. But yeah, this is complete with the disc and the manual as well. You get confused with the L and the R buttons on the PlayStation controller. Yeah, in fairness, the Xbox controller, I believe it only had one L and R button, and then it had the black and white buttons, which were really weird. You know, I've got one around somewhere. I just can't be bothered to dig it out. I tend to use a transparent green small controller, which was pretty cool, and I'm a big fan of that controller. Next up, We have Burnout Revenge. This is a racing game. You never played Enter the Matrix? I really recommend it, Kamui. I guess it depends if you like the Matrix films. You know, I like the Matrix 1 and 2, and it blends into the story really well. And it's actually a pretty good beat 'em up with some platforming in it. I think we're going to get to that as well. This is a racing game. The Burnout series is very well acclaimed in racing, and as you can see from this age certification, it's suitable for all ages. There you go. It has the disc and the manual, which is kind of funny that it has the British age rating on there. Weird. Hey, CM Chris, welcome to the stream, my friend. How are you doing, buddy? It's good to see you. We're only on the C's, so we've got plenty more to see from here on out, my friends. See what I did there? Next up, we have Conan. Look at this cover. It looks like a heavy metal album, doesn't it? Looks pretty awesome. I believe this is a European exclusive. Correct me if I'm wrong, but I think this is. This is a platformer with hack and slash elements. It is actually a pretty cool game. I wouldn't say it's the kind of game that you would be like, oh, heartbroken if it didn't, you know, if you didn't get your hands on it overseas. But it is pretty cool. And this as well is complete with a disc and manual, as you can see, which is pretty cool. And it's not a bad game. It's not bad. It's not amazing, but it's not bad. Would I call it a hidden gem? I'd have to go back and play it to remember, but I remember it not being terrible. You're fine? Oh yes, indeed, I have only just started, my friend. We're only just making our way onto the C's, so we've got plenty more to see. I'm sorry I did that joke again, my friends. Next up is Conflict Desert Storm. Now I believe these are third-person shooters that have tactical elements. Could be wrong here, but I have a couple of these games, and I believe that's how they work. And you may think, you know, it's a generic war game. These actually aren't that bad. These actually are pretty fun. And because you get to control your squad and do stuff like that, they're pretty fun. And I picked up most of these games for really, really cheap. Like games like this, I picked up for £1 or £2, maybe even less than that at some places. So it's really fun. The official Xbox magazine calls this one of the best squad shooters. Just got better. Just got better. It gets better. It gets better. It all gets better from here. Let's hope it does. And this has the disc and manual in as well, as you can see. Hey, Daddy Chipmunk Gaming. Welcome to the stream, my friend. How are you doing? It's good to see you, buddy. Welcome, welcome, welcome. We're still on the C's, my friend. There are plenty more games to go through. Next up is Conflict Vietnam, another game in the series, from the makers of Conflict Desert Storm. You would not have thought that, right? And I still have a sticker on here. I used to take off stickers, but these days I like to leave them on if they're related to the game. Not if they're a sticker from a shop, I'll take those off. But this one is 92% from Loaded. I think you might just barely be able to see that sticker there. But I like having that on there. Pretty cool game, squad combat game. Actually, the graphics are very good, as they often are a little bit better. What color original Xboxes did we get? We got transparent silver. We did get that. I don't personally own that. My original Xbox is the same one I had from back in the day, and it's just black. But it still works, even though the internal clock is dead. This is complete with the disc and manual. Although my controller, in fairness, I might dig out the controller at some point, because it's got to be around the floor somewhere. I just don't want to dig for it and not find it. That's the problem. I'll have to show you guys it at some point. It's a transparent green controller, but it's a small one, because the small ones are the ones that I can hold better, because I have small hands. And you know what they say about people with small hands, right? I wear small gloves. So there you go. How am I doing? I'm doing great, Daddy. Thanks for stopping by, my friend. How are you doing? Next up, we have Conquer Live and Reloaded. This is a remake of the Conker's game for the Nintendo 64, but this version has been heavily censored, so it is missing some features. You can play the original one actually on the Xbox One from the Rare Replay collection, so that's something. The original Xbox controller was a big one. Oh my goodness, yeah, the Duke, the big one, was big. I actually have a little smaller one. I used to have a Mad Catz one as well, which I've lost, but that was smaller as well. This version is, yeah, I know, right? They changed a fair few things in this. It is cool to get it. It is a lot cheaper to pick this up than it is to pick up Conker's Bad Fur Day on the N64. But like I mentioned, if you have an Xbox One, go get the Rare Replay collection. They've changed it a little bit, but you can get the N64 version. And this is pretty cool. Manual and disc in there. Still a good version to play. I believe this is backwards compatible on the Xbox One as well. I believe it is. You got two blacks controllers, Sam M, two black controllers, and an unused console. Yeah, to be fair, my Xbox One may be my dustiest system. Not about the size of the nail, but the hammer that's behind it. Well, let's hammer on. Next up we have Constantine. This is a very recent pickup. A very recent pickup, my friends. I haven't played this game yet, but it looks like a third-person platformer. The game is so pretty. The visuals are so yeah, the visuals are pretty funny in that game. There you go. There's a look on the back of this. This will be in a future pickup video, my friends. You don't need to worry about that. And that is the disc and manual. If I take a break actually during the stream, my friends, I keep looking over in case it might be on the floor. You know what? No, I can see my Xbox 360 controller because it's either on the floor or it's in a box somewhere. So like I may well show you that controller, my friends. We'll see. I'll probably forget about it in 5 minutes. Next up is Counter-Strike. Right, this is a very popular game on the PC. Very popular indeed. How does it play on the console? It's harder to play without a mouse. It's a first-person shooter, but it is cool to get a plug-and-play version. So I can play this regardless. Green one was a special edition. Oh, you know what, guys? I'll go grab it. Actually, it's either right next to me. It's either right next to me or it's in a box. I'll go grab it. Don't go anywhere, guys. I haven't left you forever. I'm going to jump outside the screen for 1 minute to see if I can find that controller. And I will be right back. I'm coming back. I haven't left you. Fear not, my friends. I haven't gone anywhere, buddies. I'm still here. I'm still here, messing around. I'm still here. I'm still here. Don't go anywhere. I'm just looking for that controller, which I have no idea where it is. Oh my goodness. It's gotta be here somewhere. You can never find something when you actually need it, right? That's exactly how this is. It's gotta be here somewhere. Oh my goodness, it was right here. It was right here. Alright, I got it. Wow. Okay. Whew. I found it. Oh boy, professional stream. Okay. Let's not do that again. Don't ask me about any other controllers. So, there it is. I should have gone to a break screen. I have a break screen set up. Why didn't I do that? Here it is. Right, so yeah, this is my transparent green controller for my original Xbox. It does have only one trigger on either side, but it has the weird black and white buttons. You know what, guys? I looked in front of my consoles over there, and I was like, it's not there. It's gotta be with my other controllers in a box just behind me. I went and dug through that box and couldn't find it, and it was where I initially looked, right in front of me. I was just blind to it. But yeah, I'm quite disorganized at the moment, my friends. I have stacks of controllers lying around. I've got just controllers by my feet, Super Nintendo ones, Wii controllers, and all that junk. And they're just stacked around the place. So yeah, this is my current controller for the original Xbox that I use when playing. It's really comfortable, actually. These ones are a lot smaller. I probably have a Duke somewhere. I'm not going to pull it out for a size comparison, but the Duke is much bigger, because if I was to go and try and find it, it's probably in another box that's hidden away somewhere. But this one's much smaller, because my hands are smaller, actually, so it fits them a lot better. And yeah, the black and white buttons were weird. Only having one thumbstick, trigger on each side was a bit weird. But it's modelled after the Dreamcast controller somewhat, which is pretty cool. You can see the original Xbox as a spiritual successor for the Dreamcast in a way. You're impressed to know MVL has legs. I know, right? This debunks the myth, the rumour that MVL does not have legs. Alright, the top slots. The top slots on the controller are for a memory card, so you could put a little memory card in it. Like I said, the design was very reminiscent of the Dreamcast. You could put a little memory card in it, and then take your save games to other people's houses or whatever, and then load them up. So it was pretty cool, a pretty neat idea. And yeah, it was pretty cool. Alright, next game, my friends, next game. Next up we have Crimson Sea, although the original Xbox had an internal hard drive, so if you weren't taking the saves anyway, you didn't need them. Anyone has ever triggered the breakaway on the controller? Oh, that's another actually good point, Sam. I forgot to mention. Okay, so the leads on these controllers, the leads are actually pretty bad, because I find that the leads get quite messed up, but they have this little thing on the front where it plugs in, where you can break it away, and there's no reason for this whatsoever. I don't know why you want to leave this bit in and this bit out. But that's a thing. Don't ask me why. It's a completely pointless design. There you go. Well, yeah, so next up we have Crimson Sea. This is in really bad condition, but it's still great to have it. It's an original Xbox exclusive. This is a pretty cool game, actually. It's like a hack and slash with shooting elements. It's pretty fun. It's pretty fun. I played this on a recent video game pickups video, so you can see footage for it there, and it's actually a pretty good game. I'm going to be doing a top 10 pickups video at some point down the line, and this may well get in there because it's a good game, pretty good game, and I would say a hidden gem, Crimson Sea. And next up we have a very well-known game, Crimson Skies. This is an aerial combat game, a very, very good game. I also believe this is backwards compatible with the Xbox One. IGN in 2003 said this is the best Xbox Live game. And this is a really good game. It'll be hard to say anything bad about this game. Dashing heroes are prevalent in this game. Very, very nice game. Very well put together. So, certainly a game you want on the original Xbox. Certainly one you want. Claims to be an original Xbox exclusive. I can't remember how factual that is. Here's a game I picked up recently as well, and was on a recent pickup video. Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. It sucks. love the film. Love the film. You can see this in one of my recent video game pickup videos. There's some gameplay footage for this. It is not a very good game. It's a beat 'em up, but it's just not good. It's really hard and not in a fun way. It's just quite poorly put together. It's a shame because it's such a good film. It's such a good film. It made me want to play through the game more to try and enjoy it. But I just couldn't do it. So not a great game, which is often the way with film games, unfortunately. What's my favorite dashboard for the Xbox consoles? I would say the 360 dashboard, but because I know where everything is on the 360 dashboard, everything else changes the dashboard every 5 minutes. Every time I turn on the Xbox One, it downloads an update and it changes the dashboard completely, and I don't know where anything is. I think at one time it was telling me an update on the Xbox One was going to be 24 hours or something stupid like that, and then it turned it on, everything was in a different place, I couldn't even find my game library, it was stupid. Next up we have Dark Summit. This, what kind of game do you think this is, guys? Looking at this, what kind of game do you think Dark Summit is? Answers on a postcard. There is a game for the movie, yeah, Crouching Tiger, Hidden Dragon. Unfortunately, it's not a good game, I wouldn't recommend it. What kind of game do you think this is? What does it say here? It says action adventure on the slopes. Shooting games. Shooting games are a good guess. Shooting games are a good guess. It's not. That's not it. It's a good guess, but that's not quite right. I feel like we're doing. I feel like doing catchphrase now. It's good, but it's not right. It says action adventure on the slopes here, which is also not correct. It's not an action adventure game. What kind of game do you guys think Dark Summit is? It will take you all day to figure it out. This is a snowboarding game. It's a snowboarding game, a bit like SSX. Unlock the mystery, it tells you. Why? Why would a snowboarding game have this as the cover? Why? Why? Who knows? It's good, but it's not the one, I know, right? And then even looking at the game disc cover and the manual, you still wouldn't really know. It looks like a survival horror. It looks like Cursed Mountain, if you guys are aware of that game. Yeah, confusing. It's a snowboarding game called Dark Summit, with a cover that makes it look like a survival horror. And next up, we have Dark Watch. Dark Watch is a first-person shooter. It's actually pretty cool. Kind of reminds me of like Doom in a way. It's one of those kind of action shooter games. You get a Van Helsing vibe to it as well from how it's presented. Or actually, I don't know if you guys have played the game Painkiller. It reminds me of that as well, quite a bit. Got a pretty interesting story as well. I don't think I have the manual for this one though, but it's actually pretty cool game. I might even go as far as to say hidden gem. I might even go as far as to say that. It's a bit clunky, but it's pretty cool. We're back to Master System covers. You know, some Master System covers were actually pretty good. I've got some really good Master System covers. I think it's Shadow of the Beast I got just because the cover looked like a heavy metal album on the Master System, and the port is not so great. I think the dashboard on the original Xbox was one of the best. It is actually really cool. You get that nice opening with the Xbox logo going wah wah wah, and you know where everything is. I still have loads of music on my original Xbox, which will tell you what my taste in music at the time was. But yeah, it's actually pretty good. Next up, we have Dead or Alive 3. Of course, you've got to have this. This was kind of tailored to the Japanese audiences with the Dead or Alive games. They really didn't do so well in Japan, but they definitely tried. They tried to get there with games like this, to try and get over with the Japanese audience, but really, they just didn't care for the Xbox over there. They didn't care for it at all. A game very famous for the, let's just say the jiggly physics. It's very famous for that. And inside of here as well, you have the disc and the manual. I actually really like the disc art and the manual art for this as well. Dead or Alive. Love, I know, right, guys? And then, of course, along with that, I have Dead or Alive Ultimate, although I'm missing the outer sleeve for this. This is Dead or Alive 2 and 3, I believe. That somehow... I said 2 and 3 and put up 4 fingers. Don't ask me why. This is a collection of both of them together, which is pretty cool. And it was Xbox Live enabled for the time. It won't be anymore. And again, you know, it's very famous for things bouncing up and down, isn't it, my friends? It's very famous for that. So yeah, multiple discs in here, and for some reason I have the customer service number up the front again, but there you go. It should have both the discs in, otherwise you're going to have a very sad MVL. This is the 2-disc variant case, by the way, which you might not be able to tell, but it has a number 2 written just there. That's how you know it's a 2-disc variant case. It's a little deeper to accommodate 2 discs. There's one variant we will be able to show, because we might not be able to show many case variants. EA has EA written on it, actually. Xbox was a massive flop in Japan. I know, right? I know, right? They're very big for Nintendo and Sony, but they do not like Microsoft. Next up, we have Defender. This is a space combat game, and honestly, guys, it's not that bad. It's not as good as Defender. Let's be totally real here. You've got big shoes to fill with a Defender game, and this is a 3D game. It's not as good as Defender. It's not as good as the classic. But it is not bad, actually. I'm going to say this a fair bit, but I would almost go as far as to say this is a hidden gem. It's not bad at all when I played it last. I actually do really love 3D shooters. I've got a special place in my heart. Not as much as I love 2D shooters. I love 2D scrolling shooters. But this is not that bad. It's not terrible, guys. Give Defender a chance on the Xbox. Next up, we have Destroy All Humans. Not just one, not just a couple, but all humans. Hey, welcome Cactus316. How are you doing, my friend? Have I seen Terry Bogard for Smash? I was aware of Banjo-Kazooie on the new Smash Bros, but I haven't been aware of anything else. SNK hype in Smash. Oh, actually, you know, I think I did see that. They did like an advert where they went down to like the Super Nintendo, and then they moved over to like the Neo Geo, right? And they like swerved you, and then later in the evening they announced Super Nintendo for the online service, which was really funny. Yeah, actually that is kind of cool. I actually don't have Smash on the Switch yet, guys. I need to get it. I know I need to get it. I have the other Destroy All Humans game 1 and 2 on the PlayStation 2, I believe. So if you're wondering where Destroy All Humans 2 is, I have it on the PS2. But it's one giant step on mankind. And there you go, it has the disc and the manual in there as well. Alright, next up, we have Not sure how you say this. Is it Deus Ex or Deus Ex? No idea. Invisible War. This is the game. First person shooter. XBM gave this 10 out of 10. Xbox, small print, I can't even read it, gave it 9 out of 10. So, well received game. It's a first person shooter. Interesting game. Interesting game. Pretty cool. The game series is very well received. Hey, catch you later, Kamui. Good to see you, my friend, and I will see you next time. Have I ordered Link's Awakening on the Switch? I have indeed, my friends. I was able to get the special edition after all. There's a I think it's European exclusive or UK exclusive special edition that comes with like an art book and a steelbook case. I've got that one coming. Days Us. Oh, Days Us. I'm never gonna remember that, but thank you for telling me. Neo Geo got showed off. Yeah, actually I remember that because they went for a load of characters before they showed Terry. Next up is Dino Crisis 3. I actually didn't mind this that much. It's definitely very different from the original game. It's got a sci-fi feel to it. It's like a third-person shooter. It's much less survival horror, more action horror, which is, in fairness, is where the Resident Evil games went anyway. So they went in that direction. And it is missing the manual, unfortunately. That's the one you wanted but couldn't get it, Sam. I know, right? I missed it everywhere actually, and I've given up on hope of it. But then Argos put it up randomly. I was checking Argos periodically, and Argos put it up. So I eventually managed to snag it from Argos, assuming it actually comes for me. Oh my goodness, that sounded a bit rude, didn't it? Assuming it comes for me. When it does, I will be doing an unboxing for it. Not a special unboxing, like its own video. I will just unbox it at the end of a regular stream. Because I want to get through and play it and then stream it at some point. Even though I've already played the original, I want to play through that one because it might be a different experience. Dungeons and Dragons Heroes. This game plays a lot like Gauntlet. Dino Crisis in Space. I know, right? It actually wasn't that bad. I know people don't like the later Dino Crisis games, but I actually quite liked it. This game plays pretty much exactly like Gauntlet. If you love Gauntlet, you'll love this. Or I should actually say it plays a lot like the Baldur's Gate games, so it's actually pretty good in that regard as well. Pretty cool. Argos are great for getting stuff. They're sometimes great for getting stuff, but I had heard that they like to cancel pre-orders, so that's something I'm worried about. I had pre-orders cancelled from game before, so that's something I'm a little concerned about. Got another D&D game here with Enclave. It is a RPG game. It is pretty cool actually. This game is very interesting. There's a lot of traps early on. You're escaping from, I believe it's a cell or a dungeon where you begin and you're trying to get away and you have to deal with all of that stuff. But it's pretty cool. If you like smashing up goblins, you'll probably love Enclave. It's a pretty cool game. We've made it to the aforementioned Enter the Matrix. Love this game. Absolutely love it. It is an action game. It's got shooting elements. It's got beat 'em up elements. It's even got a little bit of platforming in it as well. Ties directly into the movie with cutscenes as well. So if you love the movie, you'll probably want to play this game. It is actually pretty good. I quite like it. Next up, another movie that I quite like got a game, and it is Evil Dead, A Fistful of Boomstick. That's right, my friends, A Fistful of Boomstick. This has a bonus making of video featuring Bruce Campbell. I believe there is a version of this. I say I believe, I've seen it in Biggie's Games and DVDs. There is a version of this that comes with, I think, Army of the Damned as well, like a double set, which is very interesting. I really thought about picking that up. But Ash is back, baby. They also did a TV series for Ash vs. Evil Dead recently as well, which is pretty cool. This is like a shooter, a third-person shooter. You just go around beating up and blasting undead. It's not terrible. It's definitely doesn't blow you away, figuratively speaking, but it's not a bad game at all. I think you only have 6 games on your original Xbox. If there's 6 good games, though, those are 6 good games. There's plenty of. I was trying to transition that into sexy and then try and say sexy, but then we've already gone past Dead or Alive, so I've got no more sexy games to show. This game is pretty sexy though. Fable. I live streamed this actually. Well, I live streamed Fable Anniversary, the remake for the Xbox 360. Xbox exclusive RPG. Controls are a little bit awkward by today's standard, and I say that because I like to play with inverted vertical. If you do that on this game, the horizontal is also messed up, so it's kind of awkward to play it. I found it pretty tough to play with those controls, but Fable, love Fable, and it is an absolutely great game. If you guys don't have Fable, if you've never played Fable, pick it up. It's got to be really cheap these days to pick this game up, and it is a good one at that. Disc is upside down, but there you go. And talking of Fable, the next game I have to show you is also Fable. Why oh why MVL, do you have a second copy of Fable? This isn't a case variant, this is actually a game variant. This is Fable The Lost Chapters. If I show you closer, you'll be able to see the subtitle there. You love Fable 2 the most? Fable 2 is actually pretty damn good as well. Yeah, that is true. This includes the DLC on the disc, and that's the reason I have this. And the only way to get this one, in the UK at least I believe, is to get the classics one. So normally I don't like these kind of, you know, smaller cases versions, where they put all this junk around the case, but certainly I like to pick this up. Please tell me I've got Fable 3. I do have Fable 3, but it is Xbox 360. You are right. Hey Nightcore, how are you doing, my friend? It's behind me. I'm gonna do Xbox 360 collection at some point down the line as well, my friends. Fear not. But yeah, this is the only way to get this version. It has the DLC on the disc, which is good because you can't download it anymore. And yeah, more weapons, more quests, and more choices included in this version. The back is exactly the same, except it's all ugly because of this case. That's the Xbox Classic version, the Xbox version of Platinum, if you will, and as well it has Classic written on the disc as well, which is just it's disgusting. But you know, still good to have that. Got Star Wars Battlefront 2. I don't believe I have Star Wars Battlefront 2. Unfortunately, it's really expensive these days with the current ones. Coming out, you know, a new Battlefront came out not that long ago, so it's pretty expensive, but it is a pretty cool game. Next up we have Fahrenheit. This game is known overseas, or you may know this game as Indigo Prophecy. This is a very unique game. 90% from play, they describe it as a masterpiece. And this is like how would I describe this? It's like a movie in a game. If you played something like Until Dawn or a Telltale game, but this offers you a lot of moving around and interacting with stuff. How you play the game affects the story. Indigo Prophecy was a very well received game, very well known, and at the time, doing it with this detail, with this cinematic level, was very new. So this was a very interesting game. There you go. It has a disco manual. No, I don't have any NBA games, although there is one I'm looking to get for the GameCube. I think it's the GameCube, which also has the Mario characters in. It might not be an NBA, but it is a basketball game. Next up we have Demon Stone. Why is this in the Fs? Because it's Forgotten Realms Demon Stone. It's a D&D game, plays very similar to Baldur's Gate and alike. It's actually got a very interesting back of the cover artwork, although because of that you can't really see the game footage very well. It's a pretty cool game. Very interesting, very story driven. Got a bit of a darker feel to it than the previous games you might have seen like Baldur's Gate. Demon Stone is a pretty cool game. Alright, next up we've gone over to the Fs. So let's F this up with Freedom Fighters from the makers of Hitman 2. Get Live 05 on the GameCube. I'll have to check that out. This one is also I'll show you the back of this. This is a third-person shooter. It's also complete with the disc and manual. It's a pretty interesting game. You can do a lot of stuff, you know, like shoot people with sniper rifles and do that, but you're supposed to be leading a revolution in this game. So it is pretty interesting. Next up we have, and you're going to question the placement of this game as well. It is From Russia with Love 007. Why have I put this in this place? Well, it's because it's from Russia. See, maybe I should put this in the zeros because it's 007, but I put it in the Fs. From Russia with Love. James Bond game, cool shooter. I believe this one's actually a third-person shooter, or it moves between them. And there has been footage of this in one of my pickup videos. It's a pretty cool game. Very cinematic, very cool. They put a lot of work into these 007 games, as you know, my friends. And this is also complete with the disc and manual in there as well. As many as I can get complete with the disc and manual, I will, my friends. That is how I like to do it. Next up, we move over to Galleon. This has another name overseas. In an F because that's the way it's titled. I know, right? There's an argument for putting it in the zeros because I guess it could be called 007. You know, whatever. Galleon. This is from the makers of Tomb Raider. It's an action adventure game. Actually, really cool. This is another game I would describe as a hidden gem. Again, very cinematic, very cool. Pretty cool. Tomb Raider. Creators made this game. FHM describes it as an instant classic, and it's totally unmissable according to Computer and Video Games, and it was given 92%. So it's pretty cool. It's pretty cool. Not great disc art and manual art, but this game is really good. So I would recommend this if you haven't heard of it before. Maybe check it out, Galleon. I think it might have been called The Legend of Galleon or something along that lines overseas rather than Galleon. A lot of our titles are different from what your titles may be overseas for some reason. Next up we have Gauntlet 7 Sorrows, and I'm not sorry to say this is a Gauntlet style game because it is a Gauntlet style game. It is a third person hack and slash, tons of enemies, tons of stuff to destroy. It's actually a lot of fun. And this as well is complete with the disc and manual. There's not a lot to say about this except if you love destroying monsters in hordes and throwing spells at enemies, then you probably want to play a Gauntlet game. Alright, next up we have Gemna Onimusha. I think that's how you say it. It's one of the Onimusha series, except, you know, obviously in with the G's because it's Gemna Onimusha. I don't recall where this fits in the titles, where it goes in the storyline. It's somewhere around there, but all of these games are pretty cool. They're quite horror-filled hack and slash games. Lots of cool boss battles, lots of cool jumping around and platforming as well. It's complete with a disc and manual as well. I'm sure the gaming magazines were paid. I know, right? I mean, one of the VHSs I have for Batman and Robin, it's either Batman and Robin or Batman Forever or Batman Returns or whatever. Has Jonathan Ross saying it's the best film ever, and it's like, Jonathan Ross, come on, buddy, you tricked people into playing it. You tricked people into watching that film. Got any Harry Potter and Xbox? I don't have any Harry Potter, unfortunately. Although maybe I do. It'll be in the H's, but I don't. Ghostmaster: The Gravenville Chronicles. This is like The Sims, but with a spooky twist to it. So essentially, instead of controlling the people in the houses, you control ghosts, and your objective is to scare everybody. So you want to get people out of the houses, get the ghosts in charge. Gemna is a remake of Onimusha 1? Question mark? I don't know, actually. There's so many of them. This is complete with the disc and manual as well. This isn't a bad game. I just feel like this game would be better served on a PC where you could use the mouse. But it's not a bad game at all, actually. It has a really cool opening cinematic where the ghosts are scaring people out of the houses, so it's pretty cool. Next up, we have another great horror game, Grabbed by the Ghoulies. It's by Rare, and it's great. It is a Xbox exclusive. It's got a very cartoony look from it. It's from the creators of Donkey Kong Country and Banjo-Kazooie. Obviously, it is a great game. And over here as well, you can see some screenshots for it. The back of the case actually is very nice, looking like the page of a book. So it's really cool. And there we have the disc and manual in there as well. I got a fair few handhelds as well. My favourite handheld is the Game Boy Advance SP. This is a great game, guys, and it's backwards compatible to the Xbox One as well. And it's also on the Rare Replay Collection, so if you have an Xbox One and you want a really easy way to pick this up, get the Rare Replay Collection. Next up we have Gun. This was also ported to the, or maybe it was ported down or up, I don't remember, but it's also on the 360. I'm actually looking to grab the 360 version because it will be widescreen, whereas this one is not, I believe. Other than that, it's a Western game, and I've actually been holding off properly playing this till I can get hands on the 360 version because it will look a bit better. When I bought this, I wasn't sure if it was on the 360, but it is, so I want to pick that up as well. Gemna Onimusha is more like a director's cut than a straight port. That's actually pretty cool. That's sweet, actually. It added some stuff in as well. Next up, we have Gunmetal. This is a mech combat game. I believe on this game you can transform between a flying and a ground-based mech and just blow stuff away. Blow it all away. Transform, target, terminate. This game's pretty cool. It does have slightly awkward controls, admittedly, but it is a lot of fun to play. Gunmetal. Another obscure game, and I believe this is Xbox exclusive, although you wouldn't know it because it doesn't say it on the cover. Another exclusive, as far as I'm aware, is Gun Valkyrie. This is a pretty cool run and gun game, actually, my friends. I'm actually a big fan of run and gun games. They're a lot of fun, and this has some great story to it as well. And this is a pretty sweet game. Very uncommon game as well. You have a gun for the 360. That's no worries, Sam. I will probably be able to find it eventually. It's actually a really common game. I just haven't gotten around to picking it up yet. But I appreciate the offer, my friend. But I will find it at some point. Eventually, my friends. Eventually, my friends. I shall have all games. But until then, the hunt continues. Next up, Gun Valkyrie. You played it? I think it's pretty cool, actually. Next up, we have Half-Life 2. Great game. The original Xbox port of this is not the best. It's also on the Xbox 360 as part of the Orange Box collection. If you guys want to get this game, PC is probably the best way, but the Orange Box on the Xbox 360 is a significant graphical upgrade to this as well. One thing I've been thinking about getting my hands on is something called the M Classic by Marcel, which is like a kind of intelligent upscaler thing. I've been looking at it. I think I said previously that I was going to get it, but I'm not sure because it's a little expensive. But it's gonna be something you can use on systems, particularly like the original Xbox and the PlayStation 2, to make them look a bit better. And that is this is complete with the disc and manual. I lose my words for a second. Woo! Hey Daniel, how are you doing, my friend? Gun can be found on Amazon. Yeah, but the thing about shopping on Amazon and eBay is it's not as fun as going out and finding it in the wild, so to speak. That's part of the adventure, is finding it in a pool of crap. There's no other way for me to say it. Finding it in a pool of garbage in the middle of a shop that has just had a neglected pile of junk. That's how I like finding games. Plus, I can film that and put it on a game hunting video as well. You're good, Daniel. That's good to hear, my friend. Good to see you here, buddy. Next up is Halo. Of course there's Halo. What kind of original Xbox collection would it be if I didn't have Halo included? Honestly, what kind of collection would it be if it wasn't there? Halo! Everyone loves Halo, right? Multiplayer as well was really good. You know, I don't know if I'm that happy about Halo, because one of the things I don't like about Halo is it pushed Perfect Dark completely off the radar. Perfect Dark was potentially going to be the Microsoft, shooter, but Halo just knocked it out of the park. So I bear that grudge against Halo. It's not Halo's fault. I owe you my handheld collection. Oh, I see. You were betting my handheld collection on if I had a certain game that was shooting. You're not the only person that's after my games. I was about to say like some kind of leprechaun. You're not the only one after my Lucky Charms. You're not the only one after my games. I think Lady Trish and Flying Crocodile are after my games as well. I'm gonna bolt all of my windows. All right. Played Halo 3 far too much, I know, right? And next up, we have a bit of a sad one. A bit of a sad one, because yet again, I mentioned this in my PlayStation 2 collection, that we'd had a lot of water damage. And one of the things I only lost one game on my Xbox collection, and it was this one. And I will show you here the Xbox Halo 2 limited collector's edition disc. This came in a steelbook case with the game and this bonus DVD. As I think this is a DVD, bonus DVD as well. It didn't actually get destroyed, but it was a steelbook, so it got rusted to heck. And my goodness, it is just done. So that's another thing I'm looking to replace actually. Halo 2 steelbook case. I've seen them around a lot, but not in good condition. So that is unfortunately a casualty of my game collection. I don't mind being teased, my friends. I appreciate all of you guys being here, but yeah, damn that water damage. Oh, no worries, my friends. I will find it. I will find it eventually. I really do appreciate you guys offering, but I will find it eventually. I will find it out in the wild in a pile of crap. I will find it, and I will dig it from out there and find it. Next up, I have the Halo 2 multiplayer map pack. This is like old style DLC, my friends. Includes 9 additional maps for Halo 2, and you just install them from the disc. Of course, this sort of stuff was really impossible to, it will be impossible to download these days, but nowadays you can still play them from the disc, as you can see it. And there's some clips on the back as well. And there's the manual and the disc. Oh, no worries, Nightcore. I really appreciate it, my friend, but I will find it eventually. Don't worry about it. I will find it out and about. Right, next up we have Hitman 2. I don't have many of the Hitman games on the original Xbox, actually. These are third-person shooters. I don't know why I sort of think third-person shooters. They're third-person shooters is what I call them. They have a lot of stealth in them as well. Stealth I'm not so good at. There's a clip on the back. Hey guys, I really appreciate it, but honestly, postage overseas, you don't want to mess with that. You don't want to mess with postage overseas. It is real expensive. I really do appreciate it, my friends. I appreciate it a lot. You guys are awesome, but honestly, if you sending stuff overseas is real expensive. So I love you guys, but you don't have to get me anything. All right, next up. Hey Jonan, welcome to the stream, my friend. How are you doing, buddy? Next up, we have Hulk. Hulk smash. Hulk destroys stuff. Hulk plays a lot like my D&D character does, Ward. So there you go. There's a nice segue there. And then we have the back of that case as well. So your Dreamcast to ship it. And there's the disc and manual in that one as well. You're good, glad it's Friday. I know, right, my friend? I know, right? It is a beat 'em up game. It's actually not that bad, but I don't believe this is the Hulk that people like. I think it's called Incredible Hulk, or anyway. Shipping overseas is really expensive, trust me guys. I used to get a lot of stuff from limited run games, but man, the shipping was so ridiculous. Next up we have Hunter the Reckoning. This is a big game series. A big game series that travels across many different systems. It's like third person hack and slash, and it also includes a lot of shooting action as well. I really like this game series. This one I think is exclusive to Xbox, but some of them are on the others as well, other systems as well. This is a Hulk TV show back in the day. I know, right? That's how I like to envision the Hulk. Just a guy with like green makeup on and wrecking stuff. That's how I like to remember the Hulk. And this is complete with a disc and manual as well. This is a multiplayer game, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah, 1 to 4 players. So this might be something myself and Jonan at some point have a go at. Potentially in some sort of video form. You know, I've still got some videos of myself and Jonan from the Danger Zone that need to come out at some point. Next up, we have Duxer franchise is a PlayStation exclusive. It's actually really awkward when stuff moves around like that. Because it's you want games on all the systems, and it's really awkward if you can't get it on the system you want. Currently, I like to get most stuff on the PlayStation 4. Next up, we have Indiana Jones and the Emperor's Tomb. I believe this is a game that disappointed a lot of people because it just didn't live up to expectation. They showed off a lot of footage that wasn't actually as good as the game looked, and then you eventually got somewhat of a downgrade to what people expected. It's an action adventure, it's got a lot of beat 'em up action, it's got a lot of platforming. It's a little bit rough, but I wouldn't say it's a terrible game. So give it a chance. Give it a chance. Indiana Jones and the Emperor's Tomb actually plays a little bit like the Buffy the Vampire Slayer games. Actually plays a little bit like that. Next up, we have Jade Empire Limited Edition. It's so sparkly. It's so sparkly. And the limited edition includes extra stuff. I can't remember what exactly it includes. No House of the Dead 3. I don't have House of the Dead 3 on the original Xbox, especially as I don't have an original Xbox light gun, but I do have House of the Dead 3. I have it on the Wii in House of the Dead 2 and 3, so I do have that game, fear not, my friends. This is from the developer of the 2003 Game of the Year. I'm not sure what they mean by that. I'm not sure what they mean. But this does include some extra stuff on the disc, extra content in there. That's why I wanted to get this version. And there you go. I think there's an additional disc in here, so let's check it out. And it is... yeah, there you go. There's the additional disc in there. It's a 2-disc case. Yeah, the PC version of that, you only played a couple of hours. It's a good game, though. It's a good game. It's really cool, actually, because the Dreamcast feels much like the original Xbox as well. Because the original Xbox kind of based a lot of itself on the Dreamcast. We're gonna link them in actually in a game down the line as well. All right, guys, it's 007 Agent Under Fire. Why, oh why is this not in the zeros? Because on the side here it says it is in fact James Bond 007 in Agent Under Fire. So that means it has to go in the J's. All right, next up. That also has the disco manual. What am I saying next up? There will be more of these games next up. But yeah, guys, there will be a game that does link the Xbox and the Dreamcast very heavily that I will show later. I'm showing this all out of sequence, so I'm going to open it again. And show you stuff. I'm getting all distracted. Alright. There we go. Next one is, again, 007, Everything or Nothing. But yet again, it is James Bond 007, Everything or Nothing, so it has to go in the J's. That's where it has to go. Everything has to be in the right place. Otherwise, you'll never find all your games, my friends, and you'll buy multiples. Alright, there we go. And it has the disc and manual. So the game I'm thinking of, guys, has had a sequel recently as well. Well, we're actually a fair way off from it. Fair way off. Next up, again, same thing with Nightfire. It is James Bond 007 in Nightfire. Tomorrow Never Dies for the PlayStation. I've got that actually. It's a pretty cool game. It is a pretty cool game. How many versions of that Bond game do you have? I have a fair few because I really like this game in particular, Nightfire. I really like. It's got a really good multiplayer. I played the hell out of this with Odin actually and my brother. We played the hell out of the multiplayer for this game. It's a lot of fun actually. It's probably begging for a video down the line that we do a multiplayer game with this at some point. Really good. Alright, and this next game is in my collection just cause. You get it? You see what I did there? It's just cause. Right, just cause. I think this was also on the 360, and I'm pretty sure I have this on the 360 as well. It's a cool game. It looks better on the 360 though. It is a really sweet action adventure game, but you know, I found it really cheap. I think I found it first on the original Xbox, and then I upgraded. There's the disc and manual. Alright, next up we have Kingdom Under Fire Heroes. I've got a couple of these games. They are they're like strategy games that have a lot of hack and slash, a bit like the Dynasty Warriors offshoots, where you can do a lot of battle strategy and then just wreck stuff as well. Jonan is not amused. Jonan hates the wordplay. It's what's going to get my character killed on D&D, and that is everything included as well. Next up we have another Kingdom on Fire, The Crusade. These games have a lot of good story to them as well. A lot of good story. They're pretty sweet games. Stand and Fight. I'm gonna skip past them because I've got a lot of games to show you guys. But there you go. That's complete with a disc manual as well. But these are like strategy games, like the Kessen or the Dynasty Warriors Tactics kind of thing. Next up, we have Legacy of Kain Defiance. I'm going to say Kain. It could be Khan. It could be Kain. Who knows? We just don't know. Answers on a postcard. Pretty cool game. This one's actually really cool because you get to play as the bad guy. Not saying that the main guy is that good a guy anyway, but you get to play as the bad guy as well. So that is pretty cool. That is also complete with a disc and manual. You get to drink a lot of blood in this game. It's bloody good. Alright. Next up, we have Leisure Suit Larry. You think it's Kain? It could well be. This game could well be crazy. Leisure Suit Larry, Magna Cum Laude Uncut, and I'm certain they just chose that Latin because it has cum in it. I'm certain. It's a game where you know what you do in this game. I'm not going to explain it. You know what you do in this game. There you go. It's not as bad as a game like Seven Sins, but it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad. And that has the disc and manual in as well, as you can see. Close up. Alright, next up we have... there's nothing really to say about that game, so I'm going to move on. If you want to see gameplay footage for it, one of my video game pickups has gameplay footage for that game. Seven Sins is worse. It is worse, that is true. Mace Griffin Bounty Hunter. This is a first-person shooter. Got a really cool theme to this. It kind of reminds me of like Rogue Trader, that kind of thing. Really cool, actually. And this is complete with the disc and manual as well. Although I did find this a little awkward to play. But then I was capturing gameplay footage for it, so I wasn't bothering to pick up ammo and stuff like that. You mean I do have a 3DO game? Yeah, I do have sex on the 3DO. In fairness, at least sex on the 3DO is honest about what it is. It's not even a game. Leisure Suit Larry is rated AO, adult only. Next up we have Manhunt. I'm just looking for a man in Manhunt. There you go, there's some clips on the back here. This is one of few games I have that doesn't have the original case. You might be able to see, no you probably can't. I'll show you guys. This isn't the original case. I was tricked by CEX. I don't know if you guys know of CEX, but they're renowned for doing this. I bought this game, got it home, and then I saw this. Reproduction case. They didn't reduce it, or they didn't tell me it had a reproduction case, but they had a reproduction case in there. I mean, it's not like you can tell, but it's just annoying. It's not the original case. And there's also a bit of plastic in here. Oh, I know why I put the plastic in, because otherwise, sorry, I put a piece of paper in, because otherwise you can see it through. That's why that's there. Alright, I'm going to go put that back there, actually, then. There you go. So, yeah. Man, would like to have the original case for this, but I really don't feel like picking up the game again just to get the case. But I do want the case for it again. Now you're thinking of a Manhunt dating sim? Okay. You think that's a US case art? It may well be, actually. Interesting enough, it's got the UK age rating on it, 18. So who knows? They probably just grabbed the image off the internet. All right, next up, I'm gonna shift some games towards me so I can show you them. We have an absolute classic. It is Max Payne. Now this is a great game. The only complaint I have with this game is its scaling difficulty. So if you're half decent at this game, it will become very, very, very hard to play as you get on. But obviously, a BAFTA award-winning game. It is a very good game. One day I want to stream this as well. Disc and manual is in there as well. You own the PS2 digital reboot. Alright, also have Max Payne 2, The Fall of Max Payne. Love this game. I wish there was a 360 version of this, because unfortunately, you still need to play the PS2 version. The PS2 version is significantly less good looking. unfortunately, than the others. So I would rate them PC version, but then that would be hard to run. And then console versions after that. PS2 one unfortunately looks the worst. Some of the textures are really bad. Oh, for Manhunt, there's a remake. That's cool. They do that sort of stuff on with stuff like the Grand Theft Auto games. They make them look better digitally. Honestly, I wish there was a 360 version of this. I have the PC version, or I had the PC version, but it was damaged by water damage, and that was an opening case. Unfortunately, this doesn't look as good as a PC version, so you've got to play the PC version for this. Really, I would recommend it. Disc and manual are in there. I actually really like the manual art there as well. All right. Next up, we have Mercenaries Playground, yay, of Destruction. It's a cool game. It's a shooter game. Not much to say about this game series. You guys are probably familiar with it. It's just a typical shooter. I think there's some strategy elements to it as well. Whoop. Yeah, some games do get banned in different territories. That is a thing. A lot of games didn't come out over here in Europe, but then a lot of games didn't come out in like America and stuff like that. Yeah, I saw recently Metal Jesus did another video where he was saying there was some PlayStation 2 games, I think he was talking about, that didn't come out in America. You know, I constantly say, you know, you can have all of our European exclusive games if we can just have like Super Mario RPG for the Super Nintendo that we never got over here, you know. You can have all of our exclusives. Can we have Earthbound? We never got Earthbound or Chrono Trigger, you know, come on guys. There you go. Yeah, there's like a digital version of the GTA games. They look amazing. I'm really jealous. I hope they do physical versions of them actually. And this Metal Gear Solid 2. You guys will know this game. This is the one with Raiden in, right? Raiden and his sweet booty. Yeah. I know a lot of people aren't a big fan of this. I don't mind it. It's a fine game. I got a collector's edition for this on PS2, which looks a bit nicer. Alright guys, we're going to go through some classic treasures now with the Midway Arcade Treasures. This is the first collection. A bunch of great games on this. Metal Gear Solid 2 Substance. A bunch of great games on this. Tons of games you can see on the back here. It includes 20 classic games. There's Defender on here, the Good Defender. Gauntlet, Joust, Paperboy, oh my goodness, Smash TV. There's so much good stuff on this. I love it. So many. Wish I had Rampage. One of these probably has Rampage. I know there's a collection on the PS1 that has Rampage on. A bunch of different Rampages actually, complete with disc and manual. Guys, of course we're not done with classic collections because you got to have Midway Arcade Treasures 2 as well, because of course you have. This has a bunch of cool games on it, including Mortal Kombat. So many good games on this as well. So many good games. Mortal Kombat 2 and 3. Narc is on here as well. Rampage is on here. There you go. Rampage World Tour anyway. A bunch of good games on this one. Includes the disc and the manual, of course, if I can get it. 2 had a robot football game on it. Nice. They're really good collections of games. They're a good way to pick them up and play them on modern systems. I also have Midway Arcade Treasures 3. I think this is a racing one. This is a bunch of racing games on it. So that's pretty cool as well. And there actually are some really good racing games on this. You've got Rush, Super Off-Road, Badlands, Stun Racer. So many good games. Good way to get a bunch of great games together in one collection. Seeing as we are talking about... that's the Rampage you're thinking of? Nice! Seeing as we are talking about racing games, we have Motocross Mania 3 next. This is a racing game, but it's also kind of like Road Rash. You can beat your opponents up as well as you go along. It's also kind of like that. Classics 2 is your favourite, the only one you played. That's fair. They're a great way to pick up a bunch of games in one collection, and those collections are fairly cheap these days as well. It's like Intellivision Lives on the PS2 is a great way to get a bunch of Intellivision games as well. Next up we have Narc. We did mention Narc. This is like a 3D remake of it. Plays a bit like the GTA games. It's alright. You get to do a bit of gun shooting in this game, which is a lot of fun. You can walk the line, or you can cross it, as they tell you. Features the disc and manual in there. Of course, if I can get them with disc and manual, I will indeed get them with disc and manual. Next up we have New Legends. Another game. If this is an original Xbox exclusive, another game I really wouldn't recommend, my friends. It's a weird kind of hack and slash kind of shooter. It's got a really interesting theme. The theme is awesome. You know, semi-futuristic fantasy world. It's pretty cool. Narco's also a Hollywood movie. That's cool. This has a disc and manual in it as well. There you go. Whoop. Next up we have Ninja Gaiden, or is it Gaiden? Whichever one it is, I will never know. Xbox 360, original Xbox and Xbox. What am I saying? I'm getting all tongue-tied. It says it's an exclusive to the Xbox. Really, I want to get my hands on the upgraded version of this, Ninja Gaiden Black. But this is certainly a good game to get your hands on. I think Ninja Gaiden Black is backwards compatible, or I could be wrong. Which is kind of the Gaiden. I'll never remember that, Jonan. You guys know me in pronunciation. Look at the disc and manual artwork as well. Love it. That looks amazing. That looks absolutely great. Next up, we have Oddworld, Munch's Odyssey. If I'm not mistaken, this got a re-release recently from Limited Run Games, or one of them did. One of the Oddworld games. It might be the first one. Got a re-release from Limited Run Games. And this is kind of awkward to control. I found the platforming really weird, going from a 2D game to a 3D game, or I should say 2.5D game to a 3D game. I really kind of didn't dig it. Spider-Man for Xbox. I've got the new Spider-Man for PS4 and I'm yet to play it actually. Abe's Odyssey did multiple releases, that's fair. They released it everywhere. Here's another Oddworld. This one I don't mind actually. Oddworld Stranger's Wrath. This is a first-person shooter. This one I actually quite enjoyed. There's some clips of the back for that one for you guys. From EA. I wonder if this is the EA case. Okay, so this is a slight case variant. You might not be able to tell, but it says EA. You really won't be able to tell. It says EA right here. That's okay. You can just about see maybe. It says EA. You might just have to trust me. It says EA there. So your EA games should have that in the case. Some of mine do, some of mine don't. It is kind of annoying if you have one that doesn't. But other than that, I just deal with it. Do I have Destroy All Humans 1 and 2? I have Destroy All Humans 1 on the original Xbox. And 1 and 2 I have for the PS2 as well. Next up, I don't know why I opened this before I showed you it. We have Panzer Dragoon Auto. Awesome combat on the back of a dragon, RPG elements, great game series as well. You've got to love it. Gotta love it. This is the original Xbox port from Sega. And this also has the disc and the manual in there as well. Alright guys, we've gone through a lot of games. We certainly have a lot more games to come. But I need to take a really quick break, which would have been a great time to grab the controller if I hadn't already done that. But guys, don't go anywhere. Enjoy the music and my artwork, and I will be right back very soon. Don't go anywhere. I will be right back. And we are back, my friends. Thanks for sticking with me during the break. The power of Nescafe is evil. I know, right? Get rid of tea. Oh yeah, my goodness. Coffee is my curse, my friends. It does cause me to take more breaks. But you know, one thing I probably should have done during the break is move the other games towards me so I could get to them a bit easier. So I'll just move these up a little bit and then move on to the next game. So next up we have In the Peas, because I did. Actually, I'm not going to do that one. I'm not going to do that joke. We're in the Peas now because I just took a. Pariah is next up. And it is the perfect remedy for first-person shooter fever, as it says. Hey, thanks, welcome back, guys. As says Xbox something, I guess. There's like a million different logos on there. On the back here, can you survive? I think this one's missing the manual from the weight of it. Yep, this one does not have the manual. It's a first-person shooter. It's okay. It's no Halo. It's no Halo. Let me go start stacking these over here. Next up we have Playboy The Mansion. Yep. Another game that knows exactly what it is. This is I guess you would call it a sim-style game, where, you know, the objectives are largely arbitrary in this game. How would you build the most decadent empire in the world? It literally says that. There you go. Includes the disc and manual as well for Playboy The Mansion. Next up we have Prince of Persia The Two Thrones. Has 9.2 out of 10 from the official Xbox magazine Elite. Pretty good game. Playboy made a video game. Yeah, it's not great. Hey, Gaz Loves Games. How you doing, my friend? Welcome to the stream, buddy. It's good to see you. One Warrior, Two Souls. These games are kind of interesting platformers where you have control over time as well, so you can rewind, like many of the Nintendo games these days have, so that you can get past hard bits and rewind the action. I also have Prince of Persia Warrior Within, which I believe is the first game, but you know, I put them alphabetically. How you doing, Gaz? Good to see you, my friend. There's some clips on the back of it as well, so you can see. Gaz is sleep. We're playing Monster Hunter. You know what? I haven't played many of the Monster Hunter games. I have not played many of them. I used to have one. Either I owned it and I lost it, or I had a demo for the PSP, and it was pretty cool. But I haven't played many since then. Alright, guys. A game that I really love, and you guys will probably know I'm very fond of this game series. Project Zero. Survival horror game, absolutely love them. Gaz, the devil are you? Indeed, how the devil are you, Gaz? He's sleepy. You know what? I never noticed this before, but it says based on a true story. That's kind of funny. Survival horror game, great survival horror game series. I have a side quest in my game collecting to have all of the Project Zero games. I will eventually. One day I shall have all games, but not yet. And this is a good version as well. The graphics are better on this version. Terror reveals itself frame by frame. Of course, this game series was also known as Fatal Frame overseas. Hey, King, welcome to the stream, my friend. How are you doing, buddy? It's good to see you. Welcome to the stream. We still have plenty more games to go for, actually, my friends. And of course, you have to have Project Zero 2, the Director's Cut. Crimson Butterfly, I mean, also known as Fatal Frame 2, you know. You got Zero Maiden of Blackwater on Wii U. I actually have that as well. It came out in the UK as a limited edition. It's pretty hard to get it complete. I have it complete, and it is a good game. Although, you know, the Wii U gamepad controls are kind of clunky. Yeah, well, it's good to hear, King. I'm doing great, my friend. Thanks for asking. And I'm so glad to have all of my friends here along with me as well to enjoy these original Xbox games. A great game. Again, Director's Cut, even scarier, probably the definitive version. I believe there might be a variant on the PlayStation 2 as well, but certainly this is the best looking one. You love a good horror game? I love a good horror game too as well. This is why I'm very fond of this game series. It is genuinely very, very scary. Next up, we have PsyOps, the Mindgate Conspiracy. That's right? The Mindgate Conspiracy there. I was going off memory there. The Mindgate Conspiracy, this is like a a shooter, but it also uses psychic powers and all of that kind of stuff. Your mind is the ultimate weapon. It's not actually that bad. It's actually a pretty good game. Project Zero / Fatal Frame is one of the perfect horror games. It is indeed, guys. I need to stream one at some point. It's like crazy that I haven't streamed one yet. It's super crazy. I need to get doing it. Alright. Next up, we have Quantum Redshift. Just a Wipeout clone, really. It tries to have some kind of story to it, but it just doesn't. I'm just gonna call it what it is. It's a clone of Wipeout. There are many clones of Wipeout, and this is just another one of them that claims to be an original Xbox exclusive. So there you go, Quantum Redshift. What pre-orders have you been getting ready, Sam? Alright, in Amazon, yeah. What is coming out this week, actually? Red Faction 2 is not coming out this week, but, you know, actually they have done a physical version of this on Limited Run Games as well. First-person shooter. Pretty cool one. A lot of people are very high on this game. It's a good game. Huh. Yeah, it's good to catch games on sale, isn't it? I get most of these games, to be fair. Most of these games that I've added to my collection as of late, I got from places like charity shops for like £1 or £2 each, with the exception to things like the Fatal Frame games. A lot of them I get really cheap. Alright, Return to Castle Wolfenstein, Tides of War. Obviously goes in the R's because it's Return to Castle Wolfenstein. There we also have the back of it as well, so you can see. And there is the disc and manual in there as well. Nice. Next up we have Rogue Ops. This is a stealth game, but I actually don't mind this one. Often you'll find me struggling on stealth games. It's not my favorite style of game, my favorite genre, but honestly this one's not that bad. Oh, the Mega Drive Mini. The Mega Drive Mini has been delayed 2 weeks in the UK, I think. So we're not gonna see it for a little while, unfortunately. I don't think we're gonna see it till next month. At least that's what I heard. Next up we have Scrapland. Although there's an argument for putting this in the A's because it is American McGee's Scrapland. American McGee, by the way, makes a bunch of great games. This one is described as an epic science fiction adventure that's like nothing you've seen on Xbox. That's how I would describe it. It's a very interesting game. Indeed, my friends, don't forget to hit that like button. YouTube likes that. It helps advertise the stream and all that good stuff. There's the disc and manual in there as well. Nintendo stuff. Yeah, the Link's Awakening is coming out, right? And Awakening? Yeah, that's it. And there's the new Switches. Like the light ones, which don't have the Switch gimmick, which is really weird. Next up, we have Second Sight. It's kind of, it looks survival horror, but I think it's more action horror. There we go. No Need for Speed. I do have a Need for Speed, but it's on the PlayStation 2, unfortunately. A lot of these games, you will cross over between systems, so I'll have some of them on others. And there's the disc and manual in there. Not bad games, really, the Second Sight games, but a lot more action than horror. I like my horror over action, to be fair. More like Dead Space, kinda. Next up, Run the S's. Of course, it's Shenmue 2. What else would it be? Shenmue 2 includes the Japanese feature-length DVD Shenmue the movie, which is just the cutscenes from the first game all put together. It's not really a movie. This really does bridge the gap between the Dreamcast and the original Xbox. Great game. There's some clips on the back there. Really good that this was able to cross over to the original Xbox so that more people could enjoy it. So a lot more people were aware about this game. Yeah, you called it, Nightcrawler. You called it? No, okay, I'll never do that again. Next up, let's get serious. It's Serious Sam. Alright, I believe this is known as the first encounter, I want to say, or this could be its own game, I can't remember. It's a Serious Sam game. You blast stuff. You blast stuff. There you go. You destroy everything. It's pretty good, actually. Shenmue 3 is happening, as far as I know, Jonan. The collector's edition is coming out from Limited Run Games, who, as I mentioned previously, the postage from America is just a bit ridiculous for me. So I may get the regular edition, but I might just wait a while, because I do that for most new games. I really wanted to back the Kickstarter for it, but alas. Alright, next up we have Silent Hill 2 Inner Fear. So on the PlayStation 2 collection video, I mentioned my PlayStation 2 Collector's Edition version of this was ruined, or Director's Cut I should say, which is unfortunate, but I do have Inner Fears for the Xbox, which includes all of the Director's Cut extras, except the DVD, unfortunately, and better visuals as well. The graphics have been upgraded, so this, I would say, is the version to get. There also are there's an Xbox 360 Silent Hill collection, but as far as I'm aware, that version is more like a demaster. They didn't do a fantastic job on it, so you'll probably want to get this. And again, a great survival horror game, one I'm really fond of. Shenmue 3 is supposed to be out November 2019. Next up, we have Silent Hill 4, The Room. Genuinely scary game. I remember playing a demo of this, a demo disc of this, and you just couldn't escape the room. I actually thought the demo was kind of appropriate, because in the demo, if you complete the demo, you just start the demo again and you'd be trapped in the room again. So that was kind of appropriate. It was pretty cool. And you know, back in the day, when my game collection was a lot smaller, demos were a majority of my games. let's be fair. I actually really like the artwork on the manual there. It's really crazy. Silent Hill 1 is on the PlayStation Classic. It is indeed. That's a great way to pick up a legitimate version of it as well. I've got it on the PS1. I also have the PlayStation Classic Mini as well. I don't know why that is mini, guys. The PlayStation Classic Mini. Next up we have Soldier of Fortune 2 Double Helix. It's a first-person shooter. I don't know why I'm and it's actually pretty good. It's pretty good. It's not as good as the other game, but it's pretty good. Got some text on it because it's secondhand. What are you gonna do? Remember watching Let's Plays? It was pretty interesting concept. Yeah, the Silent Hill games are always very interesting and very scary. Next up we have, alright, Soul Calibur 2. There was some debate on what the bonus character for this was when we were doing other systems. I honestly can't tell. I think it's Spawn. I think that's Spawn, right? In the corner there? I don't know, guys. I think it's Spawn. So they went with Spawn. I don't know why they didn't go with their own character. 10 out of 10 sticker from here from XBM. And yeah, they have, for some reason they chose to put Spawn in instead of like Master Chief. I really think they should have put one of their own characters in. And then on the next generation, or the next one round, I think they had Darth Vader and Yoda for some reason. So again, they went for the cheap, like, what do people like? Star Wars, let's put Star Wars characters in, instead of going for their own characters like everyone else did. But oh well, what are you gonna do? And that's actually a good segue, because the next game is Spawn Armageddon. Yeah, so Spawn Armageddon, it's kind of like a Devil May Cry style game, I would say, actually. It plays in a very similar fashion. It's a cool game. It's a cool game. It's not terrible. Also complete with a disc and manual. Someone's written a H on that because this game comes straight from hell. I assume. You get random text written on games sometimes when they're second hand, because people like to do it in permanent marker because they're jerks. Everything else I can get off. And next up we have Splinter Cell. Honestly, I hate stealth games. You guys know I hate stealth games. But it's a classic. You've got to have Splinter Cell. This version, I believe. Hey Queen, welcome to the stream, my friend. How are you doing? Welcome. We still have plenty of games left to go, my friends. Okay, so I have an extra disc in here because I actually had the discs for the classic version, and the classic version had a bonus disc with extra content. So I have the classic discs which have extra content included on the disc. This isn't a DVD, this is extra content. But I have the regular case. So I don't have the ugly classics case, I have the regular case, but I have the extra content. But obviously I've got nowhere to put this disc, so I just put it in a little bag, and a little CD case or bag, or whatever you want to call it. There you go, I've got the extra content on that as well. Next up, we have Splinter Cell Chaos Theory. Again, I really can't speak too highly of these games out of my personal preference, because I am not a stealth fan. But they are good games, they are very well received. Next up, we have Splinter Cell Pandora Tomorrow. Alright, I know people love this game. Right? That's fine. I accept that you love this game. I'm not telling you that you should not love this game. The new dawn of stealth action it refers to itself as. I gotta be honest, guys, when I recorded gameplay footage of this for one of my video game pickups, I raged almost more than I ever have about how annoying it was to play this game, and oh my goodness, it was just so bad. You know, it's probably a great game if you give it time, but not really when I'm trying to, you know, record video game footage for games and I'm playing like 20 games in a big go to get like at times you suck at stealth. Yeah, I suck at stealth, not just at times but all the times. The case is even broken. The case can't hold the disc because it's so garbage, and I don't even have the manual and I don't care. About time for a new Splinter Cell, right? Yeah, anything other than this one. Man, yeah, I suck at that game, I admit it, but maybe I just didn't give it enough time. Here's a game I've got time for. SSX on Tour. Love the SSX games. Absolutely love them. Fun. Snowboarding games. It's just arcade style action all day long. Very much like the Tony Hawk's games, if you guys have played them, except on snow. And would you say it's better or snow good? I would say both. And WD-40 is great for getting sticky things off. Splinter Cell intrigued me. Jacob. Hey Jacob, how you doing, my friend? It's one of those games you sucked. I'm not good. I'm not good at it at all. Next up, this game's pretty tricky. It's SSX Tricky. Time to rock around the block is tricky. It's SX Tricky. That's the music of the game. Alright, this is a game I really love. I had it on PlayStation 2 initially. I'll be honest, guys, it plays better on the PS2. The controller is better suited for it. But I love this game so much. This is such a great game. It's just pure action, pure enjoyment. I will have such a fun time playing this. And I'm not a massive sports game fan, but this game I love. And it is complete with a disc and manual as well. There you go. Don't give ideas about WD-40. Uh-oh. Alright. I'm going to move the rest of these games closer to myself so it's easier to show them off. Next up we have a game I actually live streamed for you, my friends. It is Knights of the Old Republic. Star Wars Knights of the Old Republic. That's why it's in the S's. It's so good. That's why it's in the S's. Honestly, a great game. Backwards compatible for Xbox One. That is how I live streamed it in HD quality. The graphics are in fact upgraded on the Xbox One, so it looks really good. And honestly, guys, it's a great game. When I went back to play it, it was still a lot of fun. It is such a cool RPG. You're young and innocent until you're told about its powers. You may well be young and innocent until you join the dark side, which is what I did on my live stream. You know, it was a lot of fun, and at some point, I'm sure we need to move along to Knights of the Old Republic 2. I know people have asked me to do this game on live stream. I remember not liking this game as much as the first game, and I think that's why I'm hesitant to stream it. As well as somehow I got away with copyright on the previous one, and I probably won't this time round. But nevertheless, you know, the 2003 Xbox Game of the Year, Knights of the Old Republic 2, it was a bit too grimdark for my liking. It went a bit too far on being all sad and depressed about stuff. But you know, it's a great game. Some point I will have to stream it. I'll have to stream it at some point, my friends. We're gonna get there at some point for Knights of the Old Republic 2. It's probably gonna be a lot of fun. Another excellent Star Wars game, Star Wars Jedi Knight Jedi Academy. This, alongside a game that I'm currently missing, Jedi Knight Jedi Outcast, are really good third-person. I guess you'd say hack and slash platformers, but I don't know why that's hack and slash. That's spreading butter on your toast. But this game is as smooth as butter. See, I salvaged it. Great games. I need to get Jedi Outcast as well for the original Xbox. I had it on PC back in the day, but I want a plug-and-play version on the Xbox. Great RPGs as well. Well, less RPG, more sort of just destroying stuff with your lightsaber, but that's still a lot of fun. Complete with the disc and manual as well. Alright. Next up, Jedi Outcast is coming to Switch soon. Oh yeah, I heard about that. It would be great if they got a physical version. You know, Limited Run, I've spoken about a lot in the stream actually, but they've been doing re-releases of Star Wars games recently. They actually re-released the NES version on a NES cartridge. So they've been doing a lot of good stuff. Next up, I would like to declare a state of emergency. It is state of emergency on the original Xbox. Not much to say about this game, except it's kind of a cheesier Grand Theft Auto. If you imagine the Grand Theft Auto games and just add a little more cheese to it, then that's this. Complete with the disc and manual as well. Kind of weird disc art there. Not a lot going on it. No doubt it's just strange. Yeah, I think it's just, you know, Star Wars hype. Let's put out more Star Wars stuff. Next up we have Stolen. Another stealth game I don't mind so much, actually. This one's actually pretty fun. One that I didn't hate recording gameplay footage for my video game pickups. So if I didn't hate recording gameplay footage, it's actually pretty good. Complete with a disc and manual as well. It is a stealth game. You can, of course, beat people up, but you're encouraged not to. Alright, guys. I actually forgot I had this. It is the Street Fighter Anniversary Collection. I honestly didn't know I had this. That's kind of funny. It includes Street Fighter 2, the animated movie, in there as well. It's coming back to me now because I have watched that movie at some point. And it is actually a movie. It's not like the Shenmue movie, which is just a bunch of cutscenes from the previous game. Includes Street Fighter 2, and then Street Fighter 3, and then another version of Street Fighter 2, because there's a million versions of that. Yeah, Street Fighter, it's a fighting game. You guys all know Street Fighter. I don't need to tell you anything about Street Fighter. You've got that. Nice. It's a good collection. There's been a recent Street Fighter collection come out for the Switch, actually, I think, which I'm pretty interested in. But yeah, pretty cool to have this. Honestly forgot I'd had it. Next up, we have Sudokai. It's not Sudoku. If you've been watching the recent D&D videos we did, where I'm going to commit honorable Sudoku, I'm going to right now commit honorable Sudokai, if you can believe that. Right, it's an original Xbox exclusive allegedly. It's kind of like it is an RPG, mixing my words again, of course. And it's pretty cool. There are a lot of RPGs on the system. It takes a lot to stand out. It's nice, bright and colourful. You bought the PS2 version of that collection. I found out it was a USA version unplayable. Oh, that sucks, Jonan. Yeah. You should be able to do some like swap magic and then get it to work on the PS2, because you can soft mod the PS2 fairly easily. I think you need to cover up like the sensor that detects if the disc is spinning or some junk like that, and then like swap the discs while it's open. I'm not an expert of it. I've been trying to get an American PS2 for ages, actually. I have an American PlayStation 1, but not an American PS2. Next up we have SWAT, Global Strike Team. This is a generic shooter where you go and rescue people from terrorists. I'm honestly not sure when I got this game. It is squad-based combat. I probably didn't play it that much, which is why I can't remember much about it. But, you know, thinking of this, it's just blending into loads of other games of the same genre in my mind. So that's what I have a fair few games. Next up, I actually spoke of collections a lot for good things to grab for your collection. It is the Taito Legends collection, and this is a really good collection of games. 29 games that define a generation, it says. It also includes a free art card inside. The official Xbox magazine gives it 8.4 out of 10. It's got a bunch of absolutely brilliant games on it, my friends. Absolutely brilliant games included on this. Some absolute classics. Battle Shock, Bubble Bubble, Colony 7, Elevator Action, Gladiator, Great Swordsman. Just so much good stuff. Space Invaders, Part 2 Return of Space Invaders as well. Hey, no worries, Jonan, thanks for being here, my friend. And I will catch you later, buddy. And I will see you next time. Which will actually be, myself and Jonan are going to be recording some D&D. Is this the right way up? No, that way. There we go. I'm going to be recording some D&D tomorrow. So there won't be a stream tomorrow in theory, unless it gets cancelled. I should have an art card in here as well, actually. I have a bundle of art cards in here as well. So we've got Operation Wolf there, and Phoenix. I have 2 art cards here. I think you actually only got 1. This is just a flyer. The second coming, it's about Taito Legends 2, which I don't have yet. Which would actually be pretty sweet. So the reason I have 2 arcade flyers is I bought a second version of this because originally I just had the disc and the manual, and I didn't have the case. I bought another copy for the case. That's why I have 2 of those. So I got to upgrade it because it was such a great game. I wanted to make sure I had it in the case. Next up, we have a fighting game, and it is Tao Feng Fist of the Lotus. This was an early original Xbox game. I believe I got this when the system came out. Xbox exclusive. It sort of Dead or Alive-ish. There are destructible clothing physics in this game. The more beat up and injured your enemies get, the less clothing they will have. I mean, they did that for obvious reasons, didn't they? It's an interesting game. I would say it's actually a pretty good fighter. It's very unsung, so it's not that bad. The cover is kind of weird. If you didn't know, you would say this would be more like a hack and slash game, but it's a fighting game. And maybe they should have leaned more towards the destructible clothing physics on the cover and gone. I'm not going to say more Senran Kagura, but you know, somewhere along those lines, and it might have sold a bit better. And next up, a game that definitely is on the side of sex sells is The Bard's Tale. I believe there is a PlayStation 4 version of this as well that's come out recently. This is an RPG, very much in the style of the Baldur's Gate style games. Got some top-down hack and slash action. You play a charming bard, and this is a great game. Absolutely great. Great to have it complete in the box as well. So I'm happy about that. Next up, this game is just incredible. It's The Incredibles. Honestly, for a game based on a film, which are often not so great, this one's not that bad. A lot of beat 'em up action here, a lot of platforming, a lot of fun. It's pretty good. It's pretty good, I have to say. And I do believe this carries on from where the movie left off as well. So before they made a sequel to The Incredibles, the disc is upside down again. Come on. There you go. Before they made a sequel, this would be the closest thing to a sequel to The Incredibles. So it's actually pretty cool, even though confusing enough, it's just called The Incredibles. Another game based on a film, but this one is not so great. It is Lord of the Rings Fellowship of the Ring. Not really based on the film, more based on the book. But there you go. And it came out sort of independently of that. It says the official game, but you know, it does note here based on the book, right? You know, so this is not a film game. It does not use the actors from the film. I'm very particular about that. And you know what? It's not bad, but it's not as good as Incredibles. So I actually think it's not that bad. Next up, this next game is quite punishing, and it is The Punisher for the original Xbox. Oh my goodness, guys. This game plays, I'm going to say similar to Max Payne, although I don't recall there's any slow-mo in it, but you get the drift. You got gun shooting action in third person. You just get to beat the heck out of everybody in this game. And there's also lots of interesting ways to torture and kill people in this game as well. There's 2 different Bard Tale games that are on the PS4. Huh! The puns, not the puns. But yeah, this game is really good actually. An unsung hero. I don't know if I would call this game actually a hidden gem, because I think a lot of people know about this game these days, but this is a really, really good game. In fact, Xbox Gamer says it's a star game. There you go. Next up, the next game is The Suffering. But we shan't suffer through it for that long. It's actually a really cool survival horror game. Again, this leans towards action horror than survival horror, but this is a cool game series. So if you haven't heard of The Suffering, I would check it out. Really cool actually. More action than anything else, but it does do a good job of survival horror in there as well. Alright, next up we have The Suffering, Ties That Bind. Interesting front cover. I know, right? I think they did a better job on this front cover to really get this kind of feel of the game. This one is, I say, even more action orientated. 9 out of 10 from Xbox Big Game. And this one I do remember enjoying a lot more. Especially the start. The start was more kind of interactive. The other one has more of a horror start, a bit slower, but definitely a cool game series if you hadn't heard about it. Suffering, Ties That Bind. There you go. Sequel. Next up, we have The Terminator, Dawn of Fate. Honestly, guys, this is actually not that bad a game, but the controls really suck. So it's a really hard game to play. It's got that problem that I have in many games, where you can't change the vertical axis, or if you can, it changes the horizontal as well. I can't remember, but it just makes it really awkward to aim and shoot. So it's very clunky. Oh, and the disc is upside down. All my discs are upside down. Maybe ghosts have been moving them around. But yeah, I was quite excited to play this game, and it kind of didn't live up to my expectations. But you know, in terms of movie games, not that bad considering how bad a lot of movie games are. Alright, I'm going to need to grab some more games again. Grab the last stack of games, although it is a big stack. Next up we have Thief, Deadly Shadows. A stealth game. Don't actually mind this one because it's pretty fun. Classic as well, well known from PC. On the front here it says it is only on Xbox, but I know this game is on PC as well because I have it on PC. Complete with the disc and the manual, of course it is. Next up, Time Splitters 2. Awesome first-person shooter action. 9.3 out of 10 from Xbox. I want to say it's official magazine, but I just official UK magazine, but I can't read the small print there. But 9.3 out of 10. You guys who know this game, I love this game. Ghosts are trying to play my games. It's gonna be like the library in Ghostbusters. I'm gonna turn around and all of my games will be shifting behind my back and stacking themselves awkwardly. Yeah, great game. Absolutely great. Love this game. Have it and the original on the PlayStation 2, but certainly I'm glad to get the original Xbox version where the graphics may well be a little bit nicer. Even though the controller I feel is slightly less suited for it than the PlayStation controller. Next up we have Time Splitters Future Perfect. The last game until, I guess, recently the game there's been talk about a new game in the Time Splitters series, which is pretty cool. But this was the last game of the time, I believe, with a character that looks a bit like Vin Diesel from Pitch Black. I think that was deliberate. Unfortunately, no manual in there. Although you do get the monkey face, monkey see, monkey do. Next up, Tony Hawk's Underground. Great game series. I got many of these on the PlayStation 2. Just fun action, building up combos, doing all your tricks and all of that. Great game series. Complete with a disc and manual. This is my only one on the original Xbox. Again, I feel like games like this, the PlayStation controller handles it a little bit better. Next up we have Total Overdose. This is a racing game, but it also has shooting elements as well. I guess Grand Theft Auto style. Very cool game, very colourful and cool case as well. I really dig how they've done the artwork for this. It's very nice. And it is complete with the disc and the manual included as well. How about that? Alright, next up we have Tron 2.0 Killer App. This is the original Xbox version of Tron 2.0. I have the PC version. I played that when it came out. Great to have a version that is just plug and play for a console. Although I imagine the graphics are not quite as good. But still good to pick this up. I really like the Tron games. I especially like the Light Cycle mini games as well. So they're a lot of fun. And you know, the film Tron as well. So good. So good! Alright, next up we have True Crime New York City. True Crime New York City. Easy for you to say. I believe this was the game during the PlayStation 2 collection video that I found a loose disc in one of my other games, which is pretty funny. So hopefully the disc of this is in here, and it is. Kind of a Grand Theft Auto style game again. You do a little bit of everything in this, but it's a lot of fun. Pretty cool, and the shooting action is good in that as well. Alright. Ultimate Spider-Man on the original Xbox. The Ultimate Spider-Man. Now this game came out on many different systems, but the gameplay was completely different. So there's a Game Boy Advance version, which I also have. Gameplay is completely different. Although, you know, there's a lot of beat 'em up action as well. But certainly this version looks a lot nicer than the Game Boy Advance version, which is pretty cool. This next game is Unreal, because it is Unreal Championship. Love the Unreal games. Unreal Tournament 2003 is one of my favorite games on the PC. Certainly the games are a lot easier to play with a mouse than they are to play with a controller. I believe this is actually, this or the next one are actually a version of one of the Unreal Tournament games, just renamed. So there you go. There's a disc manual in there. Complete. Time Splitters Rewind. Yeah, so there is a new game going on. That's pretty cool. Unreal Championship 2 there. The Legendary Conflict. Who knows? Unreal Championship 2. More shooting action. Again, you'd be better off with a mouse and keyboard, certainly. But it's nice to have a version that you don't need to go through the installation. And then these days, of course, patching and all that junk as well to get it to work. Complete with the disc and manual. Alright. We had a game earlier that had a Van Helsing style look to it. Next up is Van Helsing for the original Xbox. Actually not that bad a game. I would go as far as to say this is a hidden gem. It plays exactly, and I mean exactly, like Devil May Cry. It essentially is exactly the same game. I believe they used the same game engine, or maybe the same assets or whatever. Unreal is a good game series. It is indeed. But yeah, this game, if you like Devil May Cry, this game plays exactly the same as Devil May Cry. Exactly the same. It is a complete rip-off. Van Helsing, pretty good game. Despite interesting movie. I feel nothing, no pain, no sorrow. You know, I can overact the hell of it, but Van Helsing. And I know I did some overacting there without warning, so I'm sorry about that, but our next game is Without Warning. This is a first-person shooter, I believe. I haven't played this in forever, so I don't remember, but that is what I'm going with. It's like the wrestlers in the Backyard Wrestling. I don't remember who's in it. I want to say Tommy Dreamer's in one of those Backyard Wrestling games. But then again, I'm just guessing at the wrestlers in them. New Jack was in one earlier, and I'm not sure he is. But I can't remember. Worms 3D. The puns! Worms 3D. Love this game. Again, I had it on the PC originally. It's much easier to play on the PC than it is on the Xbox, especially as the axis, the horizontal and vertical, are a bit awkward. But, you know, it's still great to have a copy I can just put in and play very easily. They actually, I feel like they made the transition from 2D to 3D fairly well. It's just the Worms game series has just kind of dropped off. There's nowhere for it to go from where it is. So they kind of dropped off. But nevertheless, Worms 3D, I actually quite like it. Alright, next up, we're on to, you know, speaking of wrestlers, we're on to WWF, or E. This is the WWE logo, actually. So WWE Raw. This was the Xbox answer to the SmackDown vs. Raw, or the SmackDown games on PlayStation 2. Nice. This is the wrestling game for the Xbox. Lots of wrestling action. These weren't as good as they weren't as good as the GameCube games, and they weren't as good as the SmackDown vs. Raw games. And I can't remember if this had some damage to it or not, but certainly my wrestling games were damaged on my Xbox. But everything except my Halo 2 survived on my Xbox. I think anyway. No, actually, I think I did have to replace. I think I had Raw 2, and I think I had to throw it away. So that maybe I lost the game there. Because I got water damaged. Next up, we have WrestleMania 21 Become a Legend. Exactly the same game series, I think. I don't think they changed much. Not as good as Day of Reckoning on the GameCube. Anywhere near. If you want a good wrestling game, play Day of Reckoning on the GameCube. Don't play this. But I'm not saying it's terrible. I'm not saying this is terrible. It's just not as good as Day of Reckoning, which is much better. Alright, guys. We're all the way over to X, the extreme side of the game collection. We have X-Men Legends. This is a beat-em-up game, top-down style. Good to have that on the original Xbox. I love beat-em-up games. Absolutely love them. Includes the disc and manual as well. Woo! Complete. Completes my heart. We also have X-Men 2. The Rise of Apocalypse. There we go. Looking at the subtitle there. I think I have this complete with disc and manual. This was a fairly recent pickup, I believe. Firing my laser. Yep, it is, except the disc is not the right way up. Damn those ghosts. What are they doing? And then finally, wow, guys, we've made it all the way through over 100 original Xbox games. To Jaeger. Take to the skies. Woo! It is an aerial combat game. Actually a pretty good one. It's not as good as Crimson Skies. It's not as good as Crimson Skies, but it's still pretty sweet. And there you have it there. Disc and manual are complete as well. And that is my complete original Xbox collection. Well, my original Xbox collection isn't complete. Maybe one day. But that is the complete lot of games that I have to show you, my friends. So, I hope you all had a lot of fun looking at my collection. Hey, thanks, Jacob. Thanks for watching the stream, my friend. Actually, you know, let's do a raid actually before I do my outro, because let's do a raid. See if I can find somebody. Actually, speak of the devil, this will be a great person to raid for us. Let's go raid Gaz Loves Games, my friends. So I'm going to drop the link in the chat, and you just put in the hashtag MVL raid. As you venture over to the link in the chat, let them know where you come from and spread the love. I love you guys, honestly from the bottom of my heart. I love you guys. Thanks for joining me on this video to take a look at my wild collection. I'm gonna at least do one more for my Xbox 360 collection, which I think is over 150 games. So yeah, check out the link in the chat for the hashtag MVL raid over to Gaz Loves Games. And other than that, guys, if you like the video, please leave a like or a comment to let me know what you think. Don't ever change. Fear not, my friends, I shall never change. At least I definitely won't grow hair, that's for sure. And don't forget to subscribe for more awesome content. And if you'd like to, you can also support me on Patreon for as little as $1 a month. There are exclusive videos on Patreon as well. And of course, guys, thank you for watching once again. I've been MVL, and I will catch you next time.